For the last nearly 19 years of my life, since October the 12th, 1995, my love affair with words went to a whole new level. These days I make a living out of writing words, relaying information about ways to go about emotionally surviving through the retelling of stories through my own experience and the privilege of being able to select anonymously through volumes of hearts libraries that clients over the years have privileged me to wander into. So I spend Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays wandering into other people's hearts libraries, a very privileged, sacred career I've been blessed with. And there I sit with and study a little bit like a passenger in the driver's seat. I get to navigate and see where their heart stories have taken them and then offer perhaps some mirroring and some feedback to help them learn how to use their own heart's GPS so they can, if they get lost, they can find their way home to their own truth. It might sound really bloody corny and new age, but many people get lost in relationships. They get lost emotionally in life. Most of my clients are highly intelligent, successful people. In the ego realm, which is a part of life for us all, our ego being our thoughts and our actions, our head and body, they are doing brilliantly. But when it comes to emotional knowledge and self-counsel, they're lost. So they come and talk to me, as I have done. I've paid for therapy, which, therapist means an attendant to the soul, and in the absence of wise female and male elders in my biological tribe, I pay for the privilege. And as a storyteller myself, I remember being wedged between a wardrobe and a wall in a psychiatric hospital in Brisbane. I'd been clean and sober. It was in my first year of being clean and sober, and all the sewage of my past that I used to keep anaesthetised, all those books from the top shelf, the horror stories and the nightmares and the crimes that had happened against my child's body. And, I'm not playing the victim card. Children are powerless victims against crimes of adults, and all of that came tumbling down, and I ended up with chronic, I've had chronic post-traumatic stress, and I ended up, being shaking on the floor in a Coles checkout because the man standing in the queue next to me had the same coloured cardigan as a pedophile next door, or the same nasal hair as another one of my perpetrators, and I'd just go into shock, like a Vietnam vet hearing a Channel 9 helicopter going into shock. Neural pathways would get open and I'd just been in a state of trauma. So I was put in a psych hospital, and I remember being wedged between a wardrobe and a wall like this, shaking with a hospital gown on, so much snot and tears, my eyes like swollen red tomatoes, rocking, which is that organic thing we do to soothe, like the child being in the mother's womb when she walks and the hips rock her, that rocking to try and self-soothe. And I remember sitting between, wedged between this wardrobe and a wall because I didn't want anyone to touch me. And the trauma was on me like a horror story I could not turn off. And I remember focusing on a rose that, beautiful Barb, one of my female elders, had brought me in. And I remember focusing on that rose in this grey hospital psych ward. I'd been in a psych ward at 16 when I attempted suicide after my first sexual experience with someone my own age, and I just... I was back there again at 33, clean and sober, trying to do the right thing, worrying about losing custody of my two boys who were then 7 and 9 because I'm in a loony bin. And it was there and then I made a pledge to Mother Nature and Father Time, which, God, G-O-D, great outdoors. That's about as spiritual as I can get. But, love, beauty and hope, those are the things that my heart connects to. And I made a pledge to that rose, which was the only thing of beauty I could see in that grey hospital room. And I said, if you ever get me out of here and I don't lose custody of my kids, I promise on my life, I will spend the rest of my life helping other people that end up in these dark, hopeless places find their way out. And my womaning up blogs to you right now are a part of that pledge. Because, you know, the written word is a beautiful thing, but to be able to look into someone else's face, even if you disagree with them, but someone that cares and someone that's been there is a helpful thing. And that's what I'm here trying to do, be helpful.